Our next storyteller is going to be Elaina, and one of Elena's life passions is volunteering at kitty shelters.
Sit down. Oh, this is perfect. So growing up, I was never told that I was different. Can you hear me now? So growing up, I was never told I was different. I was never told that I had any challenges in life. I was never told that I couldn't do something. My mom kind of hid it from me and didn't tell me so that I would never doubt my potential, never doubt the goals I had for myself, and never doubt my abilities. And looking at me right now, you probably see a girl who has brown hair, blue eyes, somewhat smiley and energetic. But what makes me who I am, and probably what y'all know about yourselves, is that it's not what we see on the outside, but it's what's on the inside. And something about me that makes me who I am is something that isn't visible. I have 8 invisible disabilities, including audio processing disorder, dysgraphia, disabilities in math and reading, test phobia, generalized anxiety disorder, and other health impairments. And today I'm really going to share with y'all some stories in my life that have made my life of being a fish out of water. And I'm just going to move this. And so it kind of all started when I was in kindergarten. I was getting tested, evaluated for having learning disabilities specifically. And there was a lot of pushback from my school, specifically my principal, for me getting tested. And my principal told my mom, well, you don't want her to be with those kids, those students. And those students were students who were in Room 8, which was the learning room that students went to who had learning disabilities. And I was one of those students. After my mom pushed and pushed for me to get evaluated, I went to that classroom from 2nd to 6th grade and did all of my outside class work, such as English, reading, and math. But being taken out of the classroom, I don't get the same, inclusion in the classroom space, and I'm taken out, which makes me noticeable, makes me a fish out of water because I'm not in the classroom. And I can remember one time in particular, and I remember it to this day because of this person, and I went back into the classroom and they were doing a spelling game, whatever, and I was just put into a group, and it was my turn. And someone across the room shouted, "Oh, it's Elena's turn. She's not smart enough. We can beat her." And it's the first time I can remember that someone was like, "No, you can't do this. No, you're not smart enough," doubting my abilities because I was taken out of the classroom space, because I wasn't with everyone else. And it kind of set the stage for, my life being a fish out of water with having LDs and other health impairments. And something that stands out to a lot of people that is visible, but an invisible disability, is my handwriting. I have dysgraphia, which means my handwriting is illegible. At age 23, I say it's like a 3rd or 4th grader. I'm giving myself a lot of credit. And I'm okay with that because I'm like, I can't write. But growing up, people were like, "Oh, that looks like cow scratch. Oh, chicken wrote that. That looks like another language." And people laughed and would taunt and even say, "Oh, you're just lazy." Teachers would make me redo assignments because they couldn't read it, but I wasn't getting the accommodations I needed in the classroom because to get accommodations, I'd have to have a computer, and they weren't having it in my district. And it took my mom buying me a computer to get me a computer from 7th to 12th grade to be the first person in my district to do so. And for me, I was a fish out of water because I was the only one in my district that had a computer 24/7 and would have to stand up in front of the class and be like, "Hey, this is my computer, don't touch it. I'm just doing my work on here and go about your business." Putting myself out there and saying, I have a difference, here it is. Growing up and getting older, you have all these taunts, you have all these positives, you have all these negatives, but you never think people will really doubt your abilities when you get to a point in your life, right? And so I'm getting ready for college, trying to pick a school, and I know what I want to do, because we all know in 11th grade what we want to do and where we want to go. And I wanted to go to Clarion University, I'm from Pittsburgh, and I wanted to go into video editing. And so I went into this individualized evaluation plan meeting with all these different people, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do, it's going to be great, I'm already applying to this school. And the first thing that came out of someone's mouth was, well, I don't know if that's the best fit for you. Maybe a 2-year institution, a community college, or technical school is a better choice for you. And I'm not, so I'm a higher ed student. I think those are great opportunities. But I knew that I wanted to go to a 4-year institution. And that was the first time an adult had ever said, no, you can't do that. Doubting my abilities, doubting my potential, doubting what I could do, because they didn't know what I could do. You only knew what I could do up in high school. And so a fire was lit, and it is still lit in me today at age 23 that I'm going to prove this person wrong wherever I go. And so I went to college. I went to Clarion University for 2 years, and I transferred to the University of Denver to finish out my bachelor's. And you know, you think when you get to college that people would be like, yeah, we get it. Yeah, we'll get you support. No, being told that we don't do that, we can't accommodate that, we don't follow that. Or having a professor say, well, I don't accommodate, I don't follow that, you can't be in my class. Or people treating you differently, professors and other classmates, when they find out you have a disability, even though it's invisible, they're like, they treat you kindly and they treat you in this special way. And I'm like, no, like, let me be me, let me do me. Like, I'm here in this class, I'm smart enough to be here. And my favorite one is that it doesn't follow university policy, that the ADA law does not stand with university policy. And being told, well, you just have to get it through it to be able to pass and graduate my undergrad. And you know, one of the biggest things is that it's invisible. My identity is invisible. What makes me me, you don't see, you can't see, which makes it ever more challenging. However, I think what's made me who I am is those challenges that have brought me the best success in my life. I graduated in the top 250 out of 648 in my high school. I was accepted in the University of Denver on pure merit. I was a member of a DU's Inclusive Excellence Case Competition team, and I never took a business class in my life, and we ended up winning. And I graduated from the University of Denver last spring with a 3.48 and was accepted to Morgridge to study higher ed. But more importantly than anything out of those accomplishments is that I beat the statistic that less than 40% of students with disabilities, specifically LDs, learning disabilities, graduate from a 4-year institution. But even better, I just found this out when I came to Morgridge, was that 1% of our society gets their master's degree. And as a student with an LD, that makes me less than 1% by getting my master's degree. And for me, these experiences, being a fish out of water, has led me to what I want to do in my life, my passions. I want to advocate for students with disabilities at the college level, maybe in the government sector. And I want to help people successfully navigate a frustrating and hard system. We look the norm, but that doesn't mean we don't need support just because we have invisible disabilities. And you know, my goal, my passion in life is to educate faculty and staff and students about the laws surrounding students with disabilities, explaining why students need time to explain their challenges and what support they need, and truly showing faculty and staff how to care for these students. I want to make our community, wherever I go, a more encouraging, a more safe place for these students to be, and make it so they feel like they belong here at the institution when sometimes I didn't feel that. And something when I was writing my personal statement for my master's degree was a quote that stood out to me about advocating. And it's by Helen Keller. I am only one, but I'm still one. I cannot do everything, but I can still do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something that I cannot do, that I can do. And today I'm here as a DU student. I'm here as a DU staff member. I'm here as the president of Delta Alpha Pi International Honor Society for Students with Disabilities, and as a student who identifies as having disabilities, to encourage y'all to listen to your students, to students that come into your offices in your life that maybe have disabilities, to encourage them to continue to go for their goals, for their dreams, to advocate, and to honestly be an ally for them, because all we want is to just feel like we belong. Thank you.